begin laughing at the guys that wanted to beat them, noting that even with their numbers, they couldn't beat them. While they are doing that, Ijin is puzzled about how to open his onigiri. He observes Lee and how he does it, and is infatuated when he manages to open it. Ijin speaks, asking how the fight even began. Lee explains that it was they who started it when they picked a fight with Youngchan. He also asks Youngchan how he is feeling, but he is much better. Lee teaches Youngchan how to act in those sorts of situations. The attitude he is carrying is important. People like them will cause you even more trouble if you get scared. Ju seconds this. Youngchan is hesitating, wondering if he won't get hit more in that case. Lee says that might happen. It depends on what kind of person he is facing. But in any case, he still shouldn't be scared. He can still do it if he tries. This causes Ijin to think about his past, where the bullying was much more severe, with the stronger ones forcing food away from the weaker ones. One also tried to do this to Ijin, but because it was survival of the fittest, it didn't end well for the bully, because Ijin is a survivor. Youngchan is hesitant to speak, but summons the willpower to do so, saying that he hated Lee and Ju not long ago. They bullied their classmates, including him. They didn't know this was counted as bullying. They thought it was just joking around. Also, it's not like they hit anyone or forced people to do stuff they didn't want. Compared to that, they are saints. Youngchan shouts that the mean things they said and the pranks they pulled were still bullying for him, and he hated them because they did it without a second thought. Lee and Ju are shocked at this discovery and apologize profusely. They were just playing pranks. They never thought about it like that. Youngchan says that it crossed his mind that it was like this after hanging out with them. As they said, they never stole or hit anybody. They apologize once again, and Youngchan seems thankful. Disaster appears in that moment, however, as Ijin has dropped his onigiri, and he is extremely distraught at the sight. The group stared at his defeated face. Inside a SW-owned building, Yuna's cousin sits at a table, but notices a commotion outside her door. It's Yuna herself, demanding to know why she's investigating Ijin. She has investigated him before too, but she promised to stop, so she demands her cousin do the same. She retorts this, saying that this is how people like them survive. Did she already forget what happened to her? Even if he saved her life, it doesn't mean he can be trusted. He is lying about all of his past, after all. Her guard perks up, saying that they had no choice but to look into him, since his documents were all falsified. The cousin says that she is glad Yuna is here, as the call containing all the information they need to know about Ijin will come soon. Isn't she curious as to who he is? Yuna says that she isn't, glaring at her while doing so, and the cousin does the same. The phone rings, the cousin responds, and we finally get her name. Shin Jie. The person on the other side of the phone says that he called about the information on Ijin. Jie is happy to finally get this information, but her hopes get shattered, as the caller says that the order from the higher-ups is that the SW group refrain from looking into him any further. This surprises everyone, and she gets mad, asking how they could ignore him. The caller says that because of SW group's relations with the government, all they can tell them is this: he is someone they don't have to worry about. After getting separated from his family because of a plane crash, he is just someone who wants to be home with his family. The next day, Yuna and Sukju go to school. They note that Ijin is absent, and Yuna goes to ask Youngchan about his whereabouts. Lee, who was also there, tells her that the teacher called him, so he will probably be back soon. They sit down, and Sukju looks at his phone, saying that the company owner came to school, much to Yuna's surprise. She wonders if he came here to meet Ijin. It seems so, as Ijin is in the lounge with him, and he is thanking Ijin for saving Yuna. Ijin says the thing he always says: he was just saving his sister. Yuna just happened to be there. The owner says that he heard about that, but that doesn't change the fact that he saved Yuna. He also apologizes for getting his sister involved in something like this. Ijin notes that Yuna also apologized for this, so there is no need to. He turns his back, trying to leave after excusing himself. The owner suddenly asks Ijin if he can be Yuna's bodyguard, but Ijin says that's not a normal job for a high schooler like him. The owner retorts this, noting that no high schooler can take down not only that many men, but also soldiers from foreign forces. Ijin asks about the protection group she has, but the owner notes that they can't come to school, and with them following her constantly, she couldn't live normally. And Sukju asked to be released from his bodyguard duty, saying that he isn't fit for the job after what happened. Ijin leaves, saying that it's something that he can't do. While Ijin has his hands on the door handle, the owner says one final thing. Yuna isn't the only reason he is here. He came to personally thank him for what happened 3 years ago. This causes Ijin's eyes to widen. He finally has the chance to thank him, as he was able to watch over his son's final moments thanks to him. Ijin says that it was simply a request, but the owner says that it was a request that no one else took because they all said it was insane. Because Ijin accepted the request, he was able to reunite with his son. He notes that he always talked about him. He couldn't stop thinking about how such a young man became a mercenary, and he asked him to look into it. But still, he couldn't find him. Yuna is also his daughter. Ijin thinks about her father's words, once saying that he had a daughter about his age. Ijin stops to think for a second and says that he can't bodyguard Yuna, but he won't sit idly by if something happens to her. The owner says that's plenty enough already, and also asks him about how he feels about the SW guards, as they are very proud for no real reason, also assuming that they are the ones who solved the Yuna situation. That's why he wants his opinion on them, but not for free, as this is a formal request. Ijin sighs. He goes back into the classroom, and Yuna greets him, but he ignores her, as class has already started. While sitting down, he thinks about Yuna's father. They met on the battlefield, where he was a volunteer. He approached Ijin because he was quite young, and offered him a more nutritious meal, saying he has to eat well for his age. A while later, Ijin hears the conversation of a few of his fellow mercenaries, who talk about the money the client is pumping into a nearby town, as they are making roads and building schools and hospitals. They all think that this is a waste of money. We see that Yuna's father helped him constantly in little ways, giving him a chocolate bar, water, and some chips, and even covering him up when it was raining. One day, though, Ijin has to leave for the next assignment, and Yuna's father says that's too bad, as he got attached to Ijin. He says that he should visit him when he has time, as he will be here for about a month. He also gives Ijin a bag of food and medical supplies, causing Ijin to finally speak to him, asking why he is doing this. The father is surprised that Ijin knows Korean, and he says that Ijin reminded him of his daughter, so he couldn't leave him alone. After a while, Ijin hears from another mercenary that the volunteer group he escorted got attacked, and from the looks of it, they were just waiting for them to leave. Most of the volunteers were killed. Ijin's reminiscing gets interrupted by Yuna, who asks him for a bit of his time. They go to a resting area, where Sukju apologizes for doubting Ijin, who says that it's fine, he did what he had to. Yuna also invites him somewhere at the request of her grandfather, the company owner. She thinks that he will refuse, but he accepts the invitation, much to her surprise. Somewhere else, Jiye is still mad at the refusal of the information regarding Ijin. But her thoughts are interrupted by her subordinate, who tells her that Ijin is here to see her. Inside the SW building, Ijin gets prepped up for training, and Sukju asks why he accepted all of a sudden. He thinks about what the company owner told him. He just has to live with the rest of the bodyguards for a few days. He already talked to them, so it should be fine. Ijin says to Sukju that he just wanted to see what bodyguarding is like. He also asks him why he isn't training, but Sukju is on Team 3, and only Team 2 trains today. Team 3 is in charge of protecting Yuna, and Team 2 is protecting Jiye and her parents. Ijin goes to the training room, where the team leader is presenting him to the rest of the team. One asks if he is the student who solved the recent incident with Sukju, and his suspicions are confirmed. Ijin also greets them all. They all begin training, with Yuna also being there to observe. She thinks that this kind of thing suits him. That's when she spots Jiye, wondering why she is here. The chief is surprised at Ijin for keeping up so well, and speeds up, ordering everyone to do the same. Afterwards, they are all exhausted, except Ijin, who still looks like he has enough stamina to spare. The training continues, and Ijin is performing better than all of the guys in Team 2, Yuna and Jiye also noticing this. After the training session is done, the team leader wonders why Ijin is so skilled, and also spots Jiye, thinking that they are going to get bashed for their poor performance. One of the people on the team asks him if he can test Ijin's abilities in combat. The chief denies this offer at first, but Ijin steps forward, much to everyone's surprise, and says that he doesn't mind. The chief reluctantly lets them spar, but they must wear protective gear first. All of the people there wonder if Ijin is going to be okay, as most of the SW bodyguards are from the special forces. Jie wonders how far he will go, with her subordinate saying that he doesn't have a chance, as the bodyguards were specially trained before coming to SW. The team leader puts some rules on this fight, saying that they should hold back, as this is only a sparring match. The guy Ijin is fighting says not to worry, while also trying to intimidate Ijin, who is unmoved by his words. The sparring begins, and the guy immediately closes the gap between them and throws a left hook, but Ijin dodges constantly. Seeing a chance to hit him, Ijin hits him in the leg and throws a punch, but the guy blocks it and tries to counterattack. His hook gets blocked, however, and Ijin throws a mighty punch, with the people there noting that he hit him where the helmet doesn't cover. The guy is stunned by this attack, and with one swift knee attack, Ijin ends the fight. Everyone is left surprised, with Sukju noting that he doesn't know how to hold back. Jie wonders if he is really 19, but her subordinate is fuming, looking with malicious intent. They carry the injured guy out of the room, the leader noting Ijin's battle skills. He also sees Jie's subordinate staring at them. Apparently, he is the real team leader, and this guy is only a placeholder for this training session. Someone else requests to spar with Ijin, Choi Beomsuk, one of the best on the team. The impromptu leader says that he can't, but Ijin says to let them spar, as he hasn't done nearly enough to feel tired, causing everyone to stare in shock. They get into position, with Beomsuk not wearing a helmet, saying he doesn't need one. Ijin also throws his away, surprising the other people. Jie asks the team leader how he thinks he will go, and he says that the last one was just caught off guard, but this time he won't underestimate him. They train every day without rest, and Beomsuk is their team ace. Yuna's bodyguard notes that in a head-on fight like this, physical abilities decide the winner, and Beomsuk is the opponent. In any case, this is going to be difficult for Ijin. The sparring begins, and it appears they are evenly matched, with both of them blocking blows from each other. Beomsuk brags, saying that Ijin can't break through his defenses. He certainly can, however, as Ijin attacks one of his knees, causing him to lose his guard. Ijin takes this opportunity to land a few blows on him. He gets mad at this, and angrily throws a punch at Ijin. This proves to be a mistake, however, as Ijin blocks his attack and hits him in the neck, ending the spar. Yuna's bodyguard notes how skilled Ijin is, taking advantage of everything in a fight. Ijin asks if anyone else wants a turn, but they all sit silently. The impromptu leader tries to say something about Ijin's fighting style, but stops, thinking that it would be like nagging after losing to a high schooler. Jie asks the team leader what he thinks, and he says that from basic training through sparring, he is exceptional. She moves forward, saying that they should move on to the next course. She speaks directly to Ijin, saying now that he has finished basic training, it's time to experience the real thing, and since he is already following Team 2's schedule, he is coming with her. Inside his office, the owner discusses Ijin with someone else, most likely a guard. They were both surprised by his abilities, and it's hard to believe that codenamed Jin was such a young kid. That name was well known years ago, meaning that he was this exceptional when he was younger than he is now. Inside the changing room, Ijin gets dressed up in a suit, looking quite dapper in it. At his house, the grandfather asks Dayun where Ijin is. She says that he has something to do, so he will be late today. He hopes that he will be alright, and not get into any fights. Inside the SW building, the impromptu leader gives the team a serious glare, hoping they are ready for some harsh training. Yuna notices Ijin walking out of the changing room in a suit, with the team liking him even less now because of his looks. His bodyguarding duties begin, and he is ordered by the team leader to sit next to Jie. Ijin does so, and the moment he sits down, he assesses the number of bodyguards here. Jie interrupts this activity by asking if he's ever wanted to become a celebrity, as she is in charge of an entertainment company, which is their destination for tonight. Ijin says he is not interested, sticking with the story that he is interested in bodyguarding. She says that he has talent in that field, taking into account how easily he took down 2 people from the team. The team leader is angry at hearing this, but Ijin excuses this loss, saying that they were only caught off guard because he is a student, so they had to be more careful around him. It was an advantageous situation for Ijin from the start. Jie thought he would have been happy after taking 2 trained people down, but the team leader knows that he was being considerate of them, understanding the situation they are in. They get to the destination and guard Jie with the team leader, who notes that Ijin hasn't moved at all in the last hour. He asks Ijin where he got his training. That kind of performance requires diligent training. Ijin says that he simply learned it from the neighborhood he grew up in, the team leader thinking he must be joking. But it seems that his